Hey guys, it's Adamo from Rossoneri TV, and today I'll be discussing about Stefan Shaarawy. Obviously a player that hasn't played for Milan in quite a long time. A lot of people comparing him to the likes of Pato, as in he's been injured for the longest amount of time. When he comes back, he gets injured again. You can easily say that he's injury prone, or you can easily say that he just has bad luck. As of late, as I mentioned, he'll go through about 3 month spell on the bench or injured off on at home, and comes back, gets injured again for about the same amount of time, and it just goes on and on and on. So you can't say that he is injury prone, and you also can't say that it could be bad luck. It could be one or the other. Personally, I think it's kind of like a mix of both. I don't really think he's as serious as Pato, but I also do think he has a bit of bad luck. But on that note, Stefan Shaarawy, do you guys see him in the formation and in the likelihood of Milan's future? Personally, being a huge Stefan fan, I don't. It's hard for me to see him playing for Milan in the future. Obviously, he will play a couple games, but I do see him leaving and having his money profited. Kind of like Quadrado at Fiorentina, as we saw, and they have highly benefited from that deal. But on that note, it's kind of odd because, as I've been mentioning, he is a bit injury prone, and with that being said, we don't really need to play a left wing, right wing formation because that's really who we've been adapting our game around, Stefan Shaarawy. But now we're playing more. We saw a 4-3-2-1 against Cesena, 4-3-1-2, which obviously Shaarawy, he could play as kind of like a shadow striker, maybe a second striker, but he's a left winger. I don't think he would play that role. I'm sure he wouldn't mind, but I don't know if he'd be best there. But overall, he wouldn't really fit in that formation. 4-4-2, he could play at left mid, but again, that's like playing Cristiano Ronaldo at left mid. Who would do that? Just waste their attacking talents. Again, could still work if you really forced it, but I don't think he would fit in Milan's plans, especially now we have Bonaventura, Cerci, Honda, Suso, the list goes on. So really, I don't think we're going to be using Shaarawy in the future. Obviously, the formation can change back to 4-3-3 once he comes back, and if it's so, all this may not make any sense. But still, I don't believe that Milan will really keep him. The only thing keeping him here is himself. He would have left a long time ago if it was just down to Milan because they didn't really want him to go, but they had huge offers for him, and he really said no to those deals because he wanted to be loyal to Milan. I would love to keep him personally. I think he can still be a fantastic player. The issue is, I don't know, again, if he will fit in our formations. I personally like the 4-4-2. I also like the 4-3-1-2, as we saw against Cesena. Worked out very, very well. But I think 4-4-2 is a great formation as well. As I mentioned, with Destro up top, with somebody like Cerci or Martinez beside him. And then on the wings, you've got somebody like Bonaventura, Honda, Suso, so on and so on. But again, as I mentioned, Shaarawy doesn't really come into the picture for me there. I think his money could easily be invested into somebody to kind of replace De Jong, as we mentioned previously. He might not sign a contract renewal. Obviously, by now they would have. I don't know why they're not meeting his demands. I personally would. You're paying somebody like Mexes, who probably makes around double what De Jong makes. I'm not too sure of that, but you never know with Mexes, and you don't want to pay De Jong, so I find that kind of weird. But overall, if that does happen, Shaarawy's money, if he were to be sold, could be purchased or could be used to purchase somebody to replace De Jong that's a bit younger and has the same amount of talent, which could work out very, very beneficial for Milan. They could get somebody like Witzel, which would be key. But we are talking about Stefan Shaarawy. And again, I mentioned once again, I do not see his future here in Milan. I would love to be proven wrong because, again, I do love Shaarawy. But the thing is, again, he doesn't really fit in the formations. And it seems that Milan are really adapting to play without him. I don't really think that they're going to need him in due time. Kind of like Roma when they lost players like, Lamela and all the players that they sold, Marquinhos. And now look where they are. They're in second place. Obviously, they were going through a dark period, but they're much better off than they were before when they had their stars. So maybe it is time we let go of Balotelli. Maybe we have to let go of Shaarawy and invest that money into other youth players or maybe other players in their prime. But whatever Milan does, hopefully they do the right thing. That has been my talk about Shaarawy. Do you think he will stay at Milan? Do you think he could fit in the plans? Definitely, I think he could, but would it work for the best? I'm not too sure, because I do feel Milan will learn to adapt without him. It'll be kind of hard to cope when he comes back. So leave it down below what you think about that situation. Like the video if you enjoyed it. Thank you for getting us to 3K subscribers here at Rossoneri TV. It really means a lot. We really do this for the entertainment of you guys, and we love doing it ourselves. So thank you for subscribing, and if you have not subscribed already, as I said, like the video, comment down below what you thought. And it has been Adamo from Rossoneri TV, and as usual, Forza Milan.